Hey guys, welcome to our podcast. I'm Michael.
And I'm Bruce.
And this is The Average Experience.
This is our first podcast.
Yes, my first time being on a mic. Little nervous about that.
It's a little daunting at first. Once you get more into the flow and once you start to realize it's just more of a conversation between us than anything else, you kind of feel a little more relaxed about it. But we came together to do this because we both just shared an interest in this, didn't we?
Yeah. So I know we've both talked about how we've wanted to do a podcast, but we just haven't been able to find the right people to do it with. And it just so happened that whenever we met each other, I remember you kind of threw it out there, something you wanted to do. And I was like, are you serious? That's something I want to do too. And it kind of just went from there.
It's kind of a weird little luck thing. So, and then
Right.
It also started out with we were talking about Tron whenever a lot of this started.
Mm-hmm.
And you had mentioned that you watched Tron Legacy, right?
Right.
And you started with Tron Legacy, and then I told you about the original Tron. It's a loose connection, but it technically is a sequel.
It is a sequel, and I didn't know that. I thought Tron Legacy, although Legacy implies there's something before it, I didn't know that there was an original Tron movie, and I just thought Tron Legacy was this own thing. I thought it was awesome, and then I remember talking about it with you, and you're like, well, it's not the first one. And my mind was completely blown.
It's a weird thing. I got introduced to Tron from my dad. So my dad showed it to me before Legacy had come out.
Okay.
So it was around 2008. And then Legacy comes out 2011. So I literally grew up loving this version of Tron, the 1982 one. And then coming into Legacy was like a whole different experience. But I want to know, I have a lot of questions about like certain parts of the movie for you.
Okay.
Because starting with Legacy, there's like a lot of like weird lines in this that are carryovers into Legacy that I guess now kind of would connect the dots, but we'll get into that. So, this movie starts out in a really weird way. I didn't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie, and I didn't know that it started so much in Tron. First.
In the actual, in the game. I will say that as somebody who has seen Tron Legacy and I love Tron Legacy, I kind of picked up on it that we were, in the game. But as somebody that hadn't seen Tron Legacy or somebody that hadn't seen it before, they'd probably be fairly confused on what was happening. So it definitely, I connected the dots right away, but it was interesting to just start right in the game.
How weird was it to see Clue at first? Because Clue's a bigger part of Legacy.
Yeah, Clue's only in the beginning.
Yeah,
and so
he's basically his program to just send out and die.
Yeah, exactly. And I will say one of the things I wrote down as I was watching it was when Clue got like disintegrated or like put back into the system, or whatever. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty awesome. Because I will say,
it was like a whole torture scene.
Yes. The graphics took a little bit to get used to.
Okay, they're very rough. Even because you're starting out in the grid or in the computer, and everything in there is kind of this. They're trying very hard to capture something that just isn't really possible in the time.
Yeah. No, I will say that I was a little hesitant about the graphics, about what was going to happen. However, the scene where he does get supposedly disintegrated or whatever, that's what made me go, okay, maybe this can work, because that was done really well. And so that made me have a little bit of hope going into the rest of the movie.
Whenever they were doing this movie, they're this is one of the first times they've done a heavy computer rendering, especially for a motion picture. This was a lot, and a lot of the time at this point in filmmaking, with making these actual digital assets, the computer had to make it, and then you wouldn't see it until later. So how we process stuff is we edit it, and then Adobe just kind of has a little
pops
bar
it out.
Pops it out. Back then it was okay, we did it, and they'll have to wait like a day or two, and then maybe it's fucked up or some shit. So like a lot of the graphics in this are like a painstaking process to make
Interesting.
shit
Okay.
absolute perfect.
I did not know that. That's very interesting to learn about. Most of the movie is done using it. Like a lot of stuff they use in the movie is done using the CGI. So it's really, like I said, it took a minute to get adapting to. But
It took some bit, and
Yeah.
especially since they're all kind of in this weird grayscale for their faces.
okay, that is something else I brought up. I thought it was interesting that you could obviously tell who were the good guys and who were the bad guys because the good guys are wearing blue, the bad guys are wearing red.
Yeah.
And it's not like their whole costume or their whole outfit is that one color. It's like accents. And then the rest of the world is like gray and black and it's like dark.
Though they kind of change it though, because like even like whenever they're playing the light cycles, you can see like the enemies are like in the blue vehicles for some reason.
Yeah, which is interesting. I did think of it. I was like, that's kind of weird. It took me a second when that was happening, that battle sequence is happening. It took me a second to realize, all right, who am I supposed to be rooting for here? Overall, I think I got adjusted to the graphics pretty well.
Yeah.
And started to really enjoy the movie because that was one thing that was hard to get used to, and I was more focused on, man, these graphics are just not up to my standard or like up to the standard of like what they are now, and so it was hard to get into it. But then once I got used to it, I could focus on like what was actually happening in the story.
Well, it's funny because that's the stuff that's like right up in your face of like graphics and stuff. You know, there's a big matte painting in the office scene, right?
Really?
Yeah, so you know when he grabs the popcorn and whatever, and he comes out and he's about to go see Dillinger, right? And he's like the guy mentions, "Oh, hey, do you mind if I grab some popcorn?" And you look over and it's like that sea of cubicles.
Okay.
That whole sea of cubicles is a matte painting.
Really?
Like, you can actually see.
Because I
like,
do
when you
remember
look.
one of the things I wrote down was how much larger the building seems. Because like we get like that.
And
that
you can
looks
see it like on
massive.
the edges, like you can see it's like clearly a matte painting, but you never notice it because you're always looking more to the left.
Yeah,
you know?
okay.
And if you do look right, you just kind of look at the whole sea
I
of it.
did notice, or I thought how much larger it made the building seem, because like we do get like a overall like view of the whole building.
Yeah.
And it's
like one big cube.
Yeah, it's a big building, you know. But looking at that with all the cubicles, I was like, golly, this building is like way bigger than I thought it was.
I really feel like this building, like, because the Flynn Arcade is such like a iconic looking building, you know, and like it's really simple and like nice. The NCOM building is so nothing.
I know it's so
Like-
bland, but I think that's
In Legacy, like they actually have like the NCOM and everything on it, and I think it looks good with like kind of like they do the Tron edge
Yeah.
lighting, you know. But this one, it's got that weird like 80s just boring business to it, you know.
I mean, I think it's probably what they're going for, to really hammer in, like, we're just a business. We don't really care about certain things. Like, we just want to make money. But then, we switch to where Flynn's at in his building, and it's all about having fun, having a good time. And so I think that the buildings itself contrast one another.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Kind
of something cool.
So one of the things from the NCOM building that I really like is that big ominous desk that Edward Dillinger has.
Okay.
If I could get that now, I would love that. The whole glass with the computer underneath it.
It is pretty neat.
It's got that 80s kind of like the panel on
Yeah,
it. I
yeah.
love that. I wish I could build something like that.
It is pretty cool. And it talks to him.
The
It talks to him.
MCP.
Yeah.
So whenever MCP talks to him on the computer and stuff, he actually is conspiring with him to take over the world.
Yeah.
And that was a really odd thing. Whenever I guess I don't remember that at all. But it made me laugh this time watching around whenever he asked for the language program because he needs a Chinese language program. And it made me realize how analog everything still is in this era.
Right.
Because why couldn't it just
Do it.
download it?
Yeah.
But there's no internet. Everything's like a program.
Yeah,
that
it's got to be
have
put
give
into it, right? Okay.
and that's really bizarre to me. It's really
Well, it's interesting to think how the system itself is so self-aware and is when you think of something that's like AI becoming self-aware, you're like, man, that's so futuristic. And then it's but but I can't download this thing. You have to input it. And that's so like completely bizarre from one another. You should think that this AI should be able to just download it itself, but it can't do that. So I think that's interesting to think about.
It's such a weird thing. The guy who made this was a big like computer nerd. And so like they're like saying like I think a lot of the stuff gets kind of glazed over, especially since computer lingo is so like common now. But back then, this was like deresolution wasn't like a thing,
Wasn't
like
a common knowledge thing.
yeah. Were you gonna de-resolution the 3 pixels you have?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I want 1 pixel now.
But so like everything in this is like just kind of a weird like he has this weird knowledge of like computers, and you can really see it. Like he has this. It's almost like he's predicting how computers are going to work,
right.
Because like in this, it's more like the internet is, where everything is like, yeah, you like the programs can contact users, but they all have like their own like little cities and like micro cities,
Which is talking about their cities. I know we're going to be jumping ahead a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
But looking at the cities, I know it's comparing Legacy and everything, but like looking at the difference between Legacy and then the cities, it is so vastly different. Because here the cities are quite literally cubes.
Yeah,
it's cubes, and there's nothing
a
else.
blank cube.
Yeah, it is. It isn't like, oh, there's like windows in it, and there's blah 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 blah. No, it is a cube. It's just a cube, and there's like maybe have like a outline mark of a color.
Yes.
No, it is just a cube. So knowing Legacy, loving Legacy, and then watching this, I'm like, oh, that's the city. It's kind of like, is that really what it is? So it's a little different to look at.
A different era. It was difficult to get this stuff in, and like like the all that rendering power and everything
Right.
they have to put into that. But like everything, like it's weird how they got like this weird like blend between them. Like if you notice, like they're comped in for most of it, like kind of like blue screen type effect. But they're using on their uniforms and stuff. You know how they do the glow? Because I know in Legacy they actually had like glowing suits.
How'd they do it?
This one, you know how the lightsabers are done?
I don't.
So there's this like basically like this reflective tape.
Okay.
Like whenever they use on like bikes and like stuff like that, and they wrap the pole in Star Wars to create that reflection into the camera.
Interesting.
That's the same thing they're doing kind of here.
Interesting.
That makes it kind of that bluish tone, and they can kind of change the colors of it, make it kind of look glowy.
Okay, cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I will say that I guess the bad guys, their uniforms, I think one of the things I wrote down was their uniforms are atrocious. I think they're so blocky, and I don't know.
It's weird how they wear that face mask on their neck.
Yeah, yeah. I think that honestly might be what throws me off so much is that there's no neck with it. It's a block. It's a lot of cubes and just blocks in this movie is what it seems like.
The villains especially are just like, although the costume designs are just kind of off.
Right.
I don't even know where like they got this like costume
idea.
I need to look up the costume designer for this because like it's like the Tron suits and everything, like the regular program suits and the helmets. Like I think that all looks great.
I do too.
Even though it's kind of, oh man, this movie's just so dated. Like even like I'm looking at the Tron suit, it just bad.
No, it is pretty rough to look at. Something I did notice was, I know we kind of already went past Clue getting captured and then disintegrated or whatever, but the ship that captures him is the ship that he ends up using in Legacy. And I thought that was cool.
The Recognizer?
Yes, yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. The ship that ends up, taking him is something that he ends up using. I thought that was like one of the first things I noticed about that.
It's a really the Recognizer is a really fun one. Especially, I think the Legacy one is way better than this one.
Oh yeah. This one here is not good at all. But the one in Legacy is so much. It's just more detailed. It's a lot more.
Because the Recognizer is from his game Space Paranoids, right?
I think that's the game. Yeah.
Have you ever played Space Paranoids?
I have not.
Back whenever Legacy came out, they released the like that whole tank simulator at the
Really?
beginning with Clue.
Okay.
Like they released that as its own like full game. It was
Interesting. Okay.
super fun.
Nice.
I think that's probably I remember. Do you remember a bit from that Clue scene?
I don't think so.
The
Which
little
one?
like the floating bit.
Oh,
that,
yes,
like,
yes.
no?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
That guy, I thought he had a bigger role in the movie than what he actually has.
Okay.
I remember him being like this whole like side plot, like because he shows up later in the movie.
He does come up
Like,
later in the movie.
but it's like for 2 seconds.
Yes, I will say that little thing. What is it called?
Bit.
The bit. I think the bit's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that is one of the best parts of this movie. Is that it is funny.
That's funny.
It is very funny. Like I went into this, I wasn't expecting a ton out of it because I knew that the graphics were rough and it was a shorter movie. Like when I pulled up the movie to watch it, it was 90 minutes long, and I was like, man, that's kind of a shorter movie. And I just wasn't expecting a ton. And then we got introduced to Flynn's character. Flynn is hilarious.
Yes.
Like, Flynn is so funny, and I wasn't expecting it, so that made the movie so much better to me. If Flynn wasn't the main character, I don't know what this movie would be, but Flynn makes it 10 times better.
He's the everyman.
Yeah, and then I think the main cast itself is great. I think Flynn's great. I think Alan. I think he's funny too. I think they're all like have a good rapport with one another. It's not like static, you know. They seem like they're buddies outside of this, and it is what makes the movie really good is the cast itself.
They're very good together, and it's really interesting that they're not together for a lot of it.
Right,
like,
right. Which is
because like in the beginning, like they get him like because like Dillinger finds out he's like going through the program to find the proof that he made space paranoids, right? So then they go to warn him, right? And they're all like hanging out and they have this great, you know, like
Banter.
conversation,
Yeah.
having fun. And then as soon as Flynn goes into the, like almost right after that, Flynn goes into the computer
Yeah.
and he's like, Ram. I don't even know, is Ram somebody from the main world? Is he the guy that's the
I have
other
no
cubicle?
idea. I have no idea. That'd be.
I didn't look it up or anything.
I didn't either, but
I'm
something.
not going to.
Yeah, something I did like was that because I thought Ram was funny from the couple scenes we got at the beginning of the movie, and then when he comes in, I think they're all just hilarious. I think Alan, who is Tron, obviously, I think he's pretty nice, pretty funny. Something that I did like is that we were able to see, like, oh, Tron is based off of Alan.
Yes.
You know, I thought that was pretty cool to look at. And like other programs are based off of their creators, which is pretty cool. Because in Legacy, you don't see Tron's face at all.
No, yes.
Which is, I remember asking you, I was like, and because when you were telling me that Tron Legacy is not the original, and there is an original Tron, I was like, well, do you get to see Tron? He goes, yeah, Tron's in it a decent amount. And so I remember that was one of the things I was looking forward to is I want to see the title character, Tron. And it did not disappoint.
Now, how did you feel? Okay, so there's a specific scene whenever they're first walking up to the games. Flynn like first gets captured in the computer, and they're walking up to the games, and they see Tron playing the games, and they go, "Who's that guy? Tron. He fights for the users." Did that like? Did you make that connection for Legacy whenever like at the very end?
Yeah.
Like whenever he like does the full sacrifice and everything.
I will say the thing I wrote was I love seeing Tron be a badass.
Yeah.
Like, because he does take out like what 4 guards
Yeah.
by himself. Okay, that's pretty dope. It's cool to see him actually be a good guy, fight for the good guys, and just how cool he is.
Yeah.
So I love seeing that. That's pretty cool.
Tron in this movie is kind of like the Luke Skywalker, you know?
Okay.
He's like the main character, but it's almost like they took like the main character and instead focused on Han Solo's character, you know?
Okay, I
Which
do
is
see that.
Jeff Bridges.
I do see that.
Which makes more sense because, you know, it's that you need that transitional character
Right.
to like go into like whatever computer world to be like, what is this? What am I doing here? What is all that?
I like how the programs know their programs.
Yes.
Like they don't think they're humans or anything like that. They know that, yeah, we were created by the users. It is what it is. And they just kind of go with that and like, oh yeah, I'm going to battle my death now. It is what it is. And I was like, all right, that's interesting because like you see movies nowadays, when they do stuff like this, like going into computers or like using AI, the AI thinks it's real.
Yes.
And then when it realizes it's not real, then the whole mess happens.
And it wants to break out.
Yeah, but in this, they're like, yep, I'm AI. Or
Yeah.
I'm part of the program. It's okay though.
Yeah, like MCP is like totally cool with it. He's just
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna take over the world. Y'all don't
Yeah.
know how to run shit.
Yeah,
You know,
I
but
thought that
I'm
was something that was pretty cool. Is that they were just, yep, this is what happens. This is how it goes. You know.
They just get, yeah, today's the day to die.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
I get to fight here. So whatever.
I did like whenever they did the fight between Flynn and the other. Was that another user? Because Sark mentions that let's put him up against someone of his own kind. Does that mean somebody else got sucked into the computer?
I don't think he was the guy that Flynn was fighting. I don't think he was a user.
Yeah.
But he might be. Okay, that's something that I hadn't thought
Because
about.
that's like the right, like it's like I barely caught it right before because Sark goes, let's put him up against one of his own kind, and I'm like, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's got to be a user, right? And then I don't recognize the guy.
But did they know he was a user though?
I don't know.
Because I thought they didn't know he was a user until towards the end of the movie when he started doing his cool stuff. So I think they just thought
I guess
because
not.
Flynn hadn't had any combat, and the guy he fought hadn't had any combat either. So it was their first time going against each other, right?
No. Sark knew for sure because MCP told him in the beginning. He's like, I'm sending you this guy. He's not like the regular programs. He's a user. And then remember he gets like scared. He's like a user.
Oh yes. Okay, I do remember that. Okay.
Because like for them, like users are like these deities.
Right,
You know?
right.
It's kind of that always made me chuckle. Is like whenever like.
User.
Yeah. Every time, like, oh my gosh, it's a user, and like Jeff Bridges is like, yeah, I'm just hanging out. Like even Ram, like later on, is like, oh, do you have a plan for everything? Like you're a user, so you must have a plan. And he's like, dude, I'm just making this up.
I'm just here. We're gonna figure something out eventually.
Like whatever works, whatever I can throw into this.
Right.
Which also, I think during that scene, they also. I'm jumping too far ahead. There's the water, that stupid water.
Oh my gosh, I did. I wrote something about the water. Let's see.
That's controversial, right? Because they call it energy,
Right.
And so I'm assuming that's like the main plug, like the main power energy going through stuff,
I
But
did say that seeing the water was like trippy.
Yeah.
It was just weird to see because everything is so like fine. Like there's not like a lot of curves in it, and like the program, it's really like defined and like blocky. And then see the water like kind of like move around, and like I was like, this is weird.
It was odd.
This is weird to see. But I did say it was kind of a cool touch to make water like their power source.
Yes.
I did think that was cool.
I wonder what the ramifications are for drinking something like that. Because, like, in universe, like, what does that do to, like, a human?
Yeah, well, they got, like...
Is Jeff Bridges a program at that point? Then what happened to the physical Jeff Bridges?
Right? Well, because they were drinking it, and they were getting amped up about it.
Yeah.
They saw it, and they're like, oh, my gosh, it's the power source. Here
Jeff
we go.
Bridges, went all the way down.
Yeah,
he
was
almost
like
had his head in it.
He was, like, face planting in it. Yeah, yeah. He had to get dragged away. Ram was like, "We gotta go, man. We gotta book
got
it.
shit to do,
yeah,
man.
we gotta go. we gotta get out of here."
It is. It's an odd thing. I want to know what the actual ramifications for something like that is, because like there's real world ramifications for stuff with like I keep saying ramification. There's real world consequences for stuff like whenever they're going through with the light cycles, whenever they had just escaped, they go through like a room with all the tanks in it, and Flynn goes, "Oh man, I shouldn't have programmed all those tank programs," and I'm like, so they have it physically here, like that means like everything they do is like a physical program that goes in, you know? But like copy and paste exists. So like, is he not just copying and pasting it? And how does that like, cause like later on in the movie, they de-res the ship, right? And then Flynn's able to like keep it together somehow. Whatever goes on with that.
He's got powers. You didn't know?
So does like de-res mean you're like actually deleting it from the computer? Do you interpret it that way? Because at first I was like, maybe it just gets stored somewhere. But then I was
That's a good
thinking,
point.
this is the computer. You don't throw something away here and expect it to still
Right?
be there.
Okay,
you know?
that's a good point. Maybe it does. It's just like gone.
Yeah.
You know?
Because like on a computer, the technical delete is really just putting it into a folder until it really gets deleted.
Right.
You know? So like, you know, all the tank programs that got deleted are probably just sitting over there, you know? Like an odd, weird little thing. I love the physical aspect of like stuff like this, you know, like the weird 80s analog.
Right. I did think that the part when Flynn gets sent into, when he gets like sent into the world, I thought that was probably one of the best graphical, like looking
Oh yeah,
of the whole movie.
where it takes off like little
Yes,
bits.
I
and
thought that was
pieces.
so sick. Okay, that was so cool to watch when he gets sent in. I was like, okay, now it's getting legit now.
It's an odd effect. I really like that they synced it up with the ending. So they must have done that in one shot with Jeff Bridges because like he does the backwards and then he immediately comes forward and it's like, oh, here's it printing out, and it's like exactly perfect. So they must have done that in one shot, but it's just that you're right. That whole visual is beautiful, but why is the laser pointed right at Laura's desk?
Okay, right, right. That's a little weird. Does she plan on going in at some point? Was that her
right?
thought? That's a little weird.
Because you see her working on it at the beginning. Like, she's, like, sitting there doing, like, whatever stuff. But she doesn't seem to be, like, sitting down or anything.
Yeah.
She's just kind of, like, half doing it.
Yeah.
And then they put the orange in front of it.
Did they forget to move it?
Like, is there supposed to be, like, a panel that's supposed to, like, close,
Yeah.
like, you know, cover it? But they never do, you know? They just shoot it at that orange
Yep.
and go,
They did it. It
everything's
happened,
cool.
right?
It's not even contained. Like, the whole thing is just around these
Yeah.
wires and pipes.
Okay, so what happens if the machine goes off and then shoots a wall? Is the wall just transported into the game?
Right. But how much of the wall gets transported, though? Just
Because-
what it can,
because-
like, take out?
Well, because if it's what it's touching, then when Flynn gets transported, he's in the chair, right?
Yeah.
So then why wouldn't the chair go with him then?
That's a good point, right? So
Does it
then,
pick
like,
and choose what it's taking?
Does it choose?
Yeah.
Like, how did it, like, because it didn't take its clothes. Because he changed clothes, like, right as soon as he gets in,
Yeah,
he's
he
in the...
Stupid looking uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I think it changes it into a program. It has to, right? But it has to
Yeah.
put the physical thing somewhere, right? Like,
I think we're getting too trippy at this point.
it's just an odd thing. Like, I don't know. I want to talk to the guy who
Yeah.
made this.
What does this mean?
'Cause he
What
was-
happens if I shoot the wall? What happens?
Because he's involved with both of the Tron movies. He didn't do a lot for the second one, Legacy, but like this one was all.
Is he still alive?
Yeah,
Do you
he's
know
like
if he's gonna be doing stuff with the upcoming movie coming out this year?
probably he doesn't do
Interesting.
anything but Tron stuff. So like
Okay.
this dude. Okay,
This is his life.
the last time I saw him was it was some Disney show where they were trying to find like the archive stuff, and they were trying to find something from the Tron archives. So they went to go talk to him. I wish I remember his name, but they went to go talk to him, and he's just this like weird hippie out in California. He's like, "Oh yeah, I made Tron." He's like, "I did this," and he's like totally like not this tech guy.
Yeah.
But then as soon as like he starts talking and you start to see like he's an old school tech guy. So he has all this like little like
Analog.
Yeah. All the stuff from like IBM back in the days,
Right.
you know, early stuff, you know? And I don't know what happened to him. He's just hanging out.
Just there now.
Yeah, but I know he came on for Legacy as a consultant and he was on set for a
Okay,
lot of
interesting.
it. I remember specifically he's in the bar scene with Daft Punk.
Okay. I actually think that's probably one of my favorite things is when creators of these big franchises do eventually go back and like help on a sequel or stuff like that. Or like if an author wrote a book and they're going to make like a show or movie about it, that the author has like a say in what happens. I do think that's pretty cool because it is their creation.
Yeah.
So I do think that's pretty cool that he was able to go back and work on Legacy.
Well, you could tell this was like his baby.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
every time he talks about it, like in interviews and stuff, if you ever look up, like he talks about it like this was his passion project.
It could do no wrong. It was
And
perfect.
He got it out. He got out exactly what he wanted. And of course, this is like kind of a cult classic movie. Most people, I don't think most people really know that this exists.
Yeah, I didn't know it existed until a couple weeks ago.
Because most people see they see the Tron suits and they go, "What the hell is
Yeah,
that?" And I'm
yeah.
like, no,
That's not
this ain't it.
that's not Tron.
Because they see Legacy's just, oh man,
It's
Legacy's
so
just
defined. It's iconic, honestly. I mean, you see those suits that they're in, and that's what you think of when you think of Tron. You don't think of the suits they're in here. You think of Legacy.
Oh yeah.
When you hear Tron, you're not, oh, Tron, the 1982 movie.
Depends on how old you are.
Well, yeah, they also- yeah,
You
yeah.
ask anybody above 40, they're probably gonna think of this one. I think every kid that was like a nerd in the 80s saw this movie. Like it was still a touchstone, but I don't think it just had lasting power. Not like something like Star Wars or something like
Yeah.
that, you know. It's not a tale as old as time.
No, wasn't a long time ago. I really do like, I know I've already mentioned it a little bit, but Flynn is just hilarious. Like, he's a nut. Like, he seems to have his energy is cranked up to 100 all the time. Like, especially in the real world, before he gets put into the game, everyone else, Alan and Laura, they're like, we've got this mission to do. We've got to break in. We've got to do this, this, and this. And Flynn's like, I'm going to play a prank on Laura. She's going to be looking around. I'm going to go hide it and scare her. Like, are you kidding me? He's a nut. I wrote down Flynn is a nut because he just doesn't seem to care. I mean, well, he cares, but like he just doesn't seem to. He goes with the flow. He's like, it will happen eventually.
He's a charming guy.
Yeah, I said Flynn is a ladies' man.
Yes, yeah,
Like, he
he's
is.
definitely a ladies' man.
Got a lot of charisma.
Well, he has like a weird love triangle in this movie, like between Laura, Alan, and Flynn. Because obviously Laura's dated Flynn at some point.
Yeah, and then her and Alan are together now.
Yes.
And what's interesting is whenever Laura brings up Flynn to Alan at the beginning, like, we have to go warn him. Alan's like, this guy?
Yeah.
Are you serious? And then when they, like, the second they all meet up, Flynn and Alan banter a tiny bit. And then after like a couple of seconds, they're like buddies.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think I think they're friends still.
Yeah.
And even like he mentions like this was NCOM's best programmer,
Right.
and now he's just in an arcade,
Yeah.
wasting his talent. You know.
Alan seems like he hates Flynn at this, like, whenever Laura mentions his name, she's like, oh, all you do is talk about this guy. And so you would think that Alan and Flynn don't have a good relationship, but they do. They're like buddies, you know.
Are they like actually together? Like, do they ever say that they're
Don't
actually
they
together?
like? Do they kiss or like they hold hands or something? They kiss.
They did?
Yeah, they kiss.
Alan and Laura?
Yeah, he comes down right after they transfer the thing and they kiss, don't they? Right?
Yeah. Okay. So before that, Laura kisses Flynn. Well, at least the program.
That's
Laura.
at the end, right?
That's at the end.
Yeah,
Are
I'm
we
talking.
talking-
Yeah,
what?
so at the beginning, whenever they transport the orange or whatever,
they
Alan
do?
comes down and doesn't he kiss Laura? Right? I'm fairly confident that that's what happens. Is he comes down and he ends up kissing Laura, or he's like, had good work or something like that, and then he kisses her.
I didn't even remember that. Oh yeah, she's looking at him like, oh yeah, okay,
Yes.
yeah. So they kiss.
Yes.
So yeah, they're in an established relationship.
Or maybe they're just friends that kiss a lot.
So after they go back in later on in the movie, Flynn kisses her because
That's the program. Okay, I did say that I did not like them kissing. I felt like it was forced.
It was.
It was like, I feel like they were forcing something there because they needed a romance or something. Did not like it. It was just like, oh, come on, guys.
It didn't make sense whenever right after she kisses Tron.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what was the point in this one? And I get that they thought that Tron was dead, but
right.
like,
Come on now.
come on, Flynn.
Yeah.
Flynn.
Yeah.
Because he goes into that computer like regularly after this movie. Like you can tell that between Legacy and Tron.
Yeah.
Is he just going in there to date the
Laura.
computer Laura?
Yeah.
Like,
Are him and Tron beefing now?
is that why he turned evil? That's
Yeah.
why he sided with Clue because
Yeah.
he kept getting cucked by fucking Flynn.
I don't know. I was just like, I don't like that it was forced, It felt like it was forced.
Yeah.
Personally speaking, couldn't care for it. Actually, I do care for it because I don't like it.
I don't know what they were thinking with that. It's just an odd
Odd choice.
choice. And there was even a moment, speaking of Flynn kissing people, he leans down with Ram.
Oh, yeah?
And they have this, like, look at, it's all tender and like,
Oh, yeah.
are you a user? Like, and I'm like, is they gonna kiss? I was like, I don't remember this in the movie. Like, Flynn's not just a ladies' man. He's an everyman.
He's a man's man. He's everyone's man. Yes. I did say I thought that it was cool that Flynn was pretending to be a program.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't like, yeah, I'm a user. What about it? No, he's like, oh, I'm a program that doesn't know anything.
He's
so
sneaky.
He's nonchalant. He's so nonchalant about everything he does. I love Flynn. Flynn made this movie so much better. I love Flynn.
Well, Jeff Bridges is just an amazing actor in general. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he just have you watched like a lot of his early stuff?
I haven't.
You haven't? Mm-mm. You haven't seen like Big Trouble in Little China?
I haven't, no.
Oh my gosh, dude. You would love that movie.
I know what our next podcast episode is.
But this charm that he has here in Tron, I would even say is a little bit toned down compared to him doing his movies in the 80s.
Interesting, because I love it. This makes me...
Like, I think in this movie, you can kind of tell he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Because, like, I imagine at this point... Because it's not really green screen. I don't even know what they were probably standing on boxes.
Yeah.
I don't even know how they would animate over that. I'm going to have to look into that. Because, like, stuff like the ship and stuff and, like, overshots are all CG. But whenever you get to, like, the ground and stuff, it has to be just CG with the comp in.
Yeah. Okay, so I know we've talked about the water, right?
Yeah.
So right after the water, or right after he drinks, like, the energy source, that's when he makes... this ship, right?
Okay.
Or is that after
Tron
and them get separated?
Tron goes off. Well, it was after they get separated because after they get the water, they take off in the light cycles.
Yeah, and then the bridge gets blown up.
Yeah,
separated. Tron's like, I gotta do this I'm gonna do my own thing. Tron goes to save the day.
Which I will say that bit where he the light cycle and it like turns a little red. I like that a lot.
That's pretty cool.
That was a cool little
little touch, right?
You get real fucking pissed, huh, yes. Tron?
And so then after that, Flynn's with Ram, and then isn't this where Flynn makes the ship, right? He's like, he's got the power.
Yeah, he touches it and it like starts activating.
Yes, I thought that was so sick when he was like, all right, I am the user, and then he just makes this ship.
Yeah.
So cool. But then I do like, after he makes the ship, it falls apart a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it is his first time using his power, or this power that he has, so he can do it all, but not to the perfect extent.
I think it's more of a visualization of being able to write programs.
Okay.
So I think what he's doing is he's taking like a program that like is broken or has a bug in it, and he's basically re-putting it back together, even though... I wish it was a little more explained because, like, even in Legacy, you can see it. They did a better job of it. Remember whenever the elevator is falling in Legacy,
and
Jeff Bridges is like doing the thing on the. That's how I interpret what this was supposed to be.
Gotcha.
Which is he can program while he's in the computer. The only thing that the only way you can really visualize that at the time is him like doing the
force. He's using the force. Yeah, he's using the force. That's what that is. I do like because right after that, that's when he starts or they're flying. Ram then dies,
and then they almost kiss.
Will they? Won't they? We don't know. They don't. Ram dies, and then that's where the bit comes in.
Yes,
I love the bit.
It comes back.
All he says is yes and no. Okay, and then we realize how bad Flynn is at flying. He crashes into about everything he can. Yeah. And I said I thought the funniest line of the whole movie was when Flynn is crashing into everything and the bit is going, no, 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 no. I thought that was hilarious because can you only say yes? No. Can you say anything other than yes and no? And like, it can only say yes and no. And I thought that was hilarious. So that's just going, no, 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 as he's crashing everything.
I'm surprised you didn't pick up on the little joke. I really love the part where he's like, this baby doesn't handle so good in town. And the bit goes, no.
Yes, it is. The bit is hilarious. The bit is.
Like, it responds to his jokes and shit.
Yeah, it is hilarious.
And like I think a lot of him like not really being able to control it is because that thing is just so damaged, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and I think that is really because he hasn't he doesn't know how to completely use his power or his like how to code stuff in while he's in the system.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, even he mentions like right whenever he grabs the handles, he's like, "Oh, this is just like the Joy-Cons."
Yeah.
Even though they look nothing like any Joy-Cons I've ever seen, but
he's got his own kind of Joy-Con, I guess.
and then he's just constantly like checking that
Yes.
thing around at the top. That did bother me a little bit. Is that it never like lines up to what he's doing in the computer?
Yeah.
But I think that's also
Oh, he's turning left. Oh, and then the ship's going sideways, or it's
because like
going,
at first the Joy-Con in the front only goes forward or back, and I was like, okay, so then you control it, you know,
something else.
but then like it starts
starts
going
turning.
every way,
Yeah.
and then like all of a sudden it like turns 90 degrees at some point. And just
I also do like that after he crashes into like this main plaza and everything, and he's like, "Don't worry, guys, I'm fine," or something like that. And then these programs just are like, do not care, could care less that their city was partially just destroyed. People probably died or whatever, and they're just like,
yeah,
okay, cool.
the programs they got stuff to do.
That happens. Whatever.
It is funny they try to like add the like textures and stuff to the walls to like try to make it like not so flat, but
Right.
it just everything
It
is
is
just
so
flat.
it's so. I want to say bland, but I mean,
It's bland. But right after this, whenever he like, well, right after the
crashing of the ship, the
into the town,
amazing flying skills of Flynn.
there's the light sailor, in which that's one of my favorite parts of the movie
Okay.
ever. I don't know why. I just something about the design of like it being like this wind ship inside of the computer on a beam of light. Which
Oh, it makes sense, right?
it makes total sense.
Yeah.
And then they metal up like as soon as they like go. That was also another thing about the kind of visualization of him like doing programs of him putting his arm inside.
That was pretty
there
cool. That
to,
was
like,
pretty cool.
Create the junction beam, and that's like the first time like he meets Laura, isn't it?
I believe so, right? I think it's as they're on the ship.
Because Tron goes to see Laura in the city 1st and drags him along.
Gets
they go
her.
to see the old dude from NCOM. I forgot his name. The other scientist that's
Yeah.
there, and he's like the communications
Right.
guard. What did you think about him like in that like big?
It reminded me of something out of Dune.
Yes.
Like it reminded me of, I don't even know his name, the guy in Dune that has like the thing coming out of his back. He's so fat he can't move around. You know what I mean? So he has to have
I
this like
forgot the
thing
name.
moving around.
I've never seen Dune before.
Oh, okay. Interesting. We might have to watch that. Anyway, he's really blocky and chunky, and then seeing that dude just made me think of Dune. Or was what it made me think of.
Yeah. No, I could see that. It's kind of got this weird. I don't know. Every like I said before, the costume designs are just odd. Like they either go from like this really technologic looking stuff to like weird older deities almost.
Yeah,
Like almost
yeah.
like I don't even know how to describe it. Like
Well, one of the like the main villain, his like assistant, whatever, the one that he tells a user's coming in, and he freaks out because it's a user. His get up looks almost like a samurai a little bit.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about? It looks a little samurai-ish, which I thought was pretty.
It's like they took like a bunch of different cultures and
Yeah,
kind of just
right?
blended it
Yeah.
in.
All right,
Which
we're
is-
gonna make our own culture, which is
It's very indicative of
Yeah,
the internet.
right,
You know, it's just
yeah.
kind of this kind of amalgamation of everybody's ideas.
maybe
into,
they
like,
planned to
one-
do that. Maybe that was their plan all along.
I think this dude had to have known more about computers than he let on.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like just the way everything's talked about, and like they're common computer terms. Like in the time they would have been used around like the tech geeks and the programmers.
Right.
But man, to actually like put this into pop culture, and this is kind of the foundation of getting people with computer stuff, you know. And so I think that like something like this really kind of pushed, I guess I'm describing this is like how people went into archaeology because of Indiana Jones, right? This I imagine pushed a lot of people into tech
To get into tech, okay.
because, you know, they're like
That seems. I want to get in the computer. I want to
Yeah.
get transported into a video game.
Exactly.
Right?
Right? Like, how many video game designers came from just this movie? You
That
know?
is a good point. Yeah.
How many video games are directly responsible, or how many?
People who wanted to design video games got the idea or like the want to because of Tron.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like, how many games are directly because Tron came out?
Yeah.
You know, like stuff like that.
It's a domino effect.
I do love the classic Tron like pose, like whenever he holds the
Holds the
disc
disc
up.
up.
Like, that's like such a cool scene. Like, he starts talking to Alan, like that whole communication scene. Alan mentions something though. He mentions that he's putting the information on his disc. So does Alan know that the user or the programs have discs and stuff? I like to dive into the.
That's interesting to think about because what do they don't, because they don't see, like, do the users see like what they're creating? Like, they're just programming stuff, right? They just type stuff and they don't, what we're seeing doesn't visualize for them, right?
No, so it wouldn't, at least not at this time. So at this time, everything was text-based. So everything is just like, you know, in this movie, they depict it more like a chat bot, like where you would like send it a message and it sends one back.
Right.
But in reality, it was more like, have you ever done any kind of coding or anything before?
Not even close.
So like, it's just kind of, it's not so much like communicating with it. It's more like telling it what to think.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. One of my favorite scenes in this movie is it's after Tron and Laura, or Laura's program, and Flynn. They all meet up and they're on that ship,
The Solar Sailor.
the Solar Sailor, going on that line, and they get into these like mountains, I guess, or like whatever it is. There's one scene where we see their solar sail, whatever ship.
Yeah,
We see it going by, and then there's a crack in the mountain, and you see the enemy ship going behind it. And I thought that was a really cool scene. Like, it was like really cool to see. I really did like towards the end, like that whole encounter of them fighting on these ships.
Yes, the whole encounter on the ships is a fun little battle sequence. It's funny that you bring up, I thought whenever you said, did you see, I thought you were going to bring up, like, there's a major Easter egg in this scene that everybody who's ever seen Tron brings this up. Whenever it's one of the wider shots, you actually see one of the panels on the ground that like makes the texture is Mickey Mouse.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know
It's
that.
not like the classic Mickey Mouse, like the round, like three circles. It's like him with like an open mouse and kind of a 3/4 turn.
Interesting. No, I've not seen that.
It always baffles me that this is a Disney movie.
Right? Okay. Yeah, it is a little.
It's out there for Disney.
It is.
Like, especially at the time in the 80s. I mean, I guess during the 80s was kind of their dark ages, wasn't it?
Wasn't that their Renaissance time?
Was it the Renaissance? I thought the Renaissance time was whenever Little Mermaid came out in
That's
the
right.
90s.
No, you're right. That's when like the Little Mermaid was coming out, and then
Beauty and the Beast and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Their dark period, apparently.
Hey, this is their dark period. I mean, it is good. If this is what they can only do whenever they're struggling, I'm happy with it.
Okay, yeah. 1970 to 1988 is Disney's dark era.
Okay.
See, those, like, even, like, whenever they go through the mountains on the Solar Sailor,
Yeah.
like, they have some round textures and
Yeah.
stuff. They're trying.
Yeah, they're doing something.
Everything's kind of flat.
Yeah, except for the couple mountains they're in. I will say that at the end, when Tron is fighting the samurai-looking dude,
Sark.
Sark, is that his name?
Yeah.
Okay, Sark. When he's fighting Sark.
Because he's the Encom. You're talking about Edward Dillinger's program, right? The main the main side guy
Yes,
to
yes, yes.
to MCP.
Right. Yes.
See, you didn't even know that was Edward Dillinger,
No,
did you?
I didn't.
See,
No, interesting.
See,
Okay.
that's what makes me mad about these effects. Like, whenever this is like, you know, my 100th time watching this, and like, it's only now that like I really realize that like, oh, these are all people from Encom.
I did say besides Flynn, it was hard to, and Laura, because Laura's the only girl, but it is hard she's the only girl. But besides that, it is hard to pick up who is who.
Yes.
Like, I really was trying to struggle. I was like,
It doesn't look like him.
no, it doesn't. Like, Flynn is easy to tell because
Because it's Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, okay. It's easy to tell him. Laura's easy to tell because she's the only girl. But everyone else is kind of hard to like pick out who's who.
Like, cause like Sark is the main one because he plays both roles so differently. Like whenever he's Edward Dillinger, he's like this calm business executive. I'm gonna fuck you up, you know. But whenever he's Sark, he's kind of this like panicky goon, you know.
Yeah,
and it's kind
that's
of
so right. That's a good analogy. Okay.
It's kind of a weird juxtaposition between the characters, you know.
No, I completely agree. So what I was saying is that when Tron and Stark are fighting at the very end, it's like the final battle.
Yes.
Tron throws his disc, and it breaks Sark's disc.
Yes.
And I was like, oh yeah, that is awesome.
That's awesome.
Because we see Tron fighting the four other guys, and he, mops the floor with them. But he doesn't like show off his true power. But when he's fighting Stark and he breaks their disc, I was like, that's Tron. Dude, that is dope.
I love whenever it breaks and then it hits the top of his head. And like they have like this digital blood spill out onto the ground, and I'm like I don't remember that being that graphic, but like from like a from an 80s technology perspective, that's pretty graphic.
Yeah, it is.
I don't like it.
It was definitely cool. It was definitely very nice to see.
I would like to see. I wish they would have whenever they moved on, like they went a little darker with this stuff. Because I know like in Legacy they did like the cubes that would just like kind of de-res and fall.
Hey, but maybe the movie coming out this year is gonna be dark.
Maybe. I really don't like Leto.
Okay.
And I'm hoping he doesn't fuck this shit up. Because he's good in stuff.
Is he supposed to be the main character?
I don't know. I think he's gonna be the main villain. I think they're gonna try to recast him as a Dillinger. Because there's no like real word about it, and like Legacy ends.
I will say there's not a ton of like information about it, right? Like
no,
it's pretty kept under wraps. Like what's the plot and everything, and like.
Well, there was set photos that leaked not too long ago, and they were just kind of hanging out like in. Like almost like I think they were gonna do like Flynn's Arcade again, and that's why people knew that it was Tron and whatnot. But
okay,
but that's like the only thing that's really come out. I think most of it's gonna be
because the movie comes out this year.
It does?
Yeah,
no way it comes out
this summer.
Next year.
No, I'm
this summer.
Okay, I really hope it comes out this summer. let me say that.
Because like they haven't even released a trailer for it.
Right.
What?
It's this summer.
October this year.
Hey, so this year I was partially right.
Is there a trailer out for it?
No, there's no way there's a trailer out. It might be fake.
No, yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's no way there's a trailer. Because we'll probably get a trailer in like June or something like that. What'd you think about the ending?
It's okay.
I thought it ended so abruptly. Or not abruptly. First off, when he goes back, it's like that. Nothing happened, like no time has passed.
Yes.
But
I think that was the point.
Yeah.
I think the point is because remember, okay, so whenever they first established this whole thing, whenever they're in the Encom tower, he tells them, he's like, we're not going to have much time. As soon as I give you clearance, you need to take it and go, because I'm not, once you have access to the Tron program, that's what he says. Once you have access to the Tron program, you're just going to have a little bit of time to use it. So I think this whole movie is like
a couple hours long, like in universe.
Yeah, because I think that happens in Legacy, doesn't it? Where everything.
Well, his dad's gone for like 20 something years, something like that, 15 something like that, and then I think when he finds his dad in the program, he's been like, I've been here for trillions of years. Yeah, a long time. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking because I was like,
so
wait.
Time in the computer is definitely moving. Faster than our
for
world.
sure.
And so I think the whole thing is like. Because I mean, I guess you have to process it like a computer would, because a computer would just pull it up in an instant. Given in that era, it may take a second to load. That second to load is this whole movie, like him trying to get there, which is like a crazy, weird existential concept.
Right. I don't really like how, because when Flynn gets put back into. We get transported back to real life, and from when the credits roll, it is like 3 minutes.
Yes,
like it wraps up like so fast.
It does.
I was like, I don't like that it wraps up that fast. I wanted a little bit more. Like I want to see Flynn, because all we see from Flynn like really become the hunch because he ends up running it again, like the company. You see him land in a helicopter.
Yes.
All right, cool.
And then
And then he gets out of the helicopter and it's done. Like
Yeah.
I wanted a little more. Like that was the thing I wish is that it was just a little bit more from that ending.
Well, I think that's just circumstance of them like trying to cut stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at like you're gonna have to cut something out of this movie, but you're working so hard to put these visual effects in
Yeah.
that like you have to know that that's going to make it in order to even do that visual effect shot. One, it's a lot of money to do that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
So like if you're gonna cut anything, you cut the live
end,
action
yeah.
stuff.
No, that makes sense.
So I imagine maybe there was like a whole ending where like he kind of like does the reform. They could have even like put in like maybe like the stupid newspaper heading like
Yeah.
Flynn reforms the company or
Yeah.
whatever. You know,
Something a little bit more because it's not really concrete what happens. I mean,
it's not a very long movie, is it?
no, it's only 90 minutes, like 92 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like a couple more minutes at the end could have just, or a couple more scenes to like definitively show that Flynn is in charge now instead of him just landing on a helicopter pad.
Yeah.
You know, because then you're just thinking, all right,
Yeah, but that NCOM helicopter is sick as shit.
it is cool. It is cool.
Have you seen like the whole beginning whenever Edward's coming in? It's all like lit up like
Yeah.
Tron.
Yeah,
Like
that
I don't
is
even
cool.
know where they found a helicopter like that. Like,
They put those lighting on it like they do the lightsabers like you were talking about earlier. Point being, the helicopter was dope. Point being, it was cool.
I think they probably knew that they had like a short amount of time because like you could see him like come up from like from the side of the building
Yeah.
all the way to the top. You
Yeah.
know, kind of showing that it's kind of looser. You know,
Yeah.
he's like having fun. You
Yeah.
know, so maybe that was
He's
like
being
their-
nonchalant. He's being Flynn.
But yeah, they should have added a whole bunch more to then like just not a whole bunch more, but just enough to like
Couple
give you,
like this is definitively what happened.
Yeah.
Right. It is kind of open ended.
to kind of give you the feel of like a new presence is taking over.
New
in
beginning.
Calm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what are your final thoughts? Quickly sum up what you thought about the movie, and then give us your rating.
I have such a nostalgia for this movie, so I feel like I might tip this a little bit higher. Are we gonna go off the letterbox scale, right? The
No, you
5
do
stars?
whatever. I did mine on a 1 to 10,
On
and
a
then
1 to 10?
I
Okay.
will say my rating lands at a 0.5. So like you can do like a 1 to 10, whatever you got, but I got a 0.5 in my rating.
Interesting. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 8. 8.5.
Okay.
I really like this movie. I
Okay.
think a lot of it is just classic. A lot of this for how movies are going to be done in the future.
Right.
I love the aesthetic of the world, even though it's kind of flat.
Mm-hmm.
It's just got its own feel and vibe. That kind of 80s, it's like the 80s synthwave movie.
It's its own thing, right?
Yeah. What do you think? What's your rating?
I come in at a 7.5. So not far off of what you got. So I don't think you're really nostalgia based because I the first time I saw the movie was a couple of days ago and I loved it. I think the main thing for me that boost because I think if it's so funny. The movie's so funny to me. If it wasn't as funny as it was, I think I'm probably looking like a 6.
Yeah.
But it is the fact that Flynn is just effortlessly hilarious. It makes it so much better. The graphics take a little bit to get used to, but once you get used to them, it's like, all right, whatever.
It's like watching a black and white movie. Once you get into it, you're like, okay, I can accept this now.
I mean, we have the movie playing on here as we talk, and like right when we booted it up, it shows the giant ship and then them playing the game and fighting and everything in the game, and I wasn't caught off guard by it. I was like, yep, that's the graphics, and I was used to it. So I think coming in at a 7.5 is just where I'm at. But I liked it. I like the movie. If anything's above a 6 for me, a 6 and above, I like it and I'd watch it again.
Okay.
So I'd watch it again and I liked it.
So this is one of those, like what you said earlier, this movie really throws you into it like immediately just to get you used to that style. And I think that really
Helps.
plays to
It
its
definitely
benefit.
helps because I think if it started with them in the real world and then threw them into the game, you'd be like, I don't know about this. So it starts in the game and then it throws you into the real world. So towards the end of our podcast, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be ranking all the movies we've seen. Now, obviously, with this being our first podcast, Tron's going to end up at the number one spot, right?
Number one, baby.
There we
Tron.
go. Tron, the original classic, 1980. That's what it pulled it when I rented it on Prime. That's what it came up as. Tron, the original classic, 1982.
Classic.
So that's the title.
That's so disheartening.
The original classic.
That kind of makes me feel old because I remember it just being Tron.
No, it's the original classic, according to Prime. So,
well, we're gonna have to find a movie to beat Tron.
yes.
I don't think that we have anything. Do we have a plan for our next episode or anything? Do you want to?
I don't.
Do you even want to include a teaser for it or anything?
I don't know if we have anything.
Here's a teaser. Wow, what a great teaser.
That was amazing. That was amazing, guys.
Wow. I can't wait for that episode that we definitely have done already and are putting out.
Yeah, so on Fridays is when we plan to release our podcast. So tune in every Friday, whether it's in the AM or PM. Every Friday we'll be out with something new.
That's about it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for listening. Hope to have you all listen to us next Friday.
Yeah, this has been fun.
Yeah, hey,